Welcome to Calisthenics Through the Ages, bodyweight strength training for old guys. I decided to make my first tutorial style video on how to do a pullover. I can't remember ever seeing a pullover tutorial. I'm sure someone out there somewhere has done one, but I've never seen one, so there must not be too many. I suspect that many calisthenics and street workout people think of a pullover as being trivial, too easy, or not hardcore enough to warrant an instructional video. But I disagree. First of all, it's a fundamental move. Every gymnast learns a pullover when they're just starting out. It's by far the easiest way to get your body on top of a bar. And second, I actually taught my son to do one, and I've attempted to teach a couple of friends. And I can tell you that for most people, ordinary people, not gymnasts, it's not trivial. For most people, it's not only difficult, it's scary. More on that in a minute. Now I'm going to show you the very best reason to learn a pullover. If you're going to train band-assisted muscle-ups, there's only one sensible way to get your feet into the band. You may have noticed just then that I was wearing something kind of funny on my hands. Well, I broke my left pinky. It's broken right here just past the last joint, and it has to be splinted straight for 3 to 6 weeks. My doctor told me that if I bend it even one time, the clock starts over, meaning I have to wear it for another 3 to 6 weeks. So unless I want to wear this thing for the rest of my life, I have to be very careful. At first I thought I wouldn't be able to do any kind of pull-ups at all, but then I remembered I have an old pair of high bar grips in the garage, so I got it out, tried it on, and sure enough, I'm able to hang by the bar and do pull-ups and stuff fairly comfortably without bending my pinky. Here I am doing chin-ups with the high bar grips and the pinky splint. I know it looks funny, but it's better than not working out for 3 to 6 weeks. Okay, on to the pullover. The first thing to realize is that it's not very difficult from a strength standpoint. That's one of the best things about it. You don't have to be a beast to do it. If you can do a pull-up, and you can do any kind of a leg lift, even an ugly one like this, you have plenty of strength to do a pullover. The thing is, you have to pull in the right direction. If you've never done it, it feels pretty awkward. You have to pull your legs upward like a leg lift, but also bend your arms at the same time. It ends up feeling like you're pulling the bar toward your waist. So one obstacle is figuring out how to coordinate the movement, but a much bigger obstacle is that if you're not a gymnast and you've never done any kind of a back rotation, it's scary. I learned it when I was a kid, and it never occurred to me that it was scary until I tried to teach it to my son and to my friends. It's scary because it feels like you're going over backwards. Your brain just doesn't want to do that. My friends never got it at all, and my son, even when he had learned the motion and could get his hips onto the bar consistently, he wouldn't ever finish the move for about 6 months. He would just go up, hang his hips over the bar, think about it for a while, and then come back down the same way he went up. In fact, the thing that finally got him to do it was showing off in front of his friends at school. So here's how I would go about learning it. First of all, I would try to find a bar that's not very high off the ground. My bar is pretty high, so I'm going to use this table to show you what to do on a lower bar. The easiest way to start is to jump toward the bar with one leg. This will help you get the feel of the motion and the direction you want your body to go. Make sure you pull your hips toward the bar with your arms. Be careful, keep a tight grip on the bar, and maintain tension in your arms and your midsection. I wouldn't try to go all the way over at first. Just get used to the motion. When you're more comfortable, try to lay your hips over the bar so that you're hanging over the bar from your hips. Make sure you do it slowly and gently. Don't try to raise your head yet. Just get comfortable with getting to this position and then going back down the way you came. This is the stage that my son was stuck at for about 6 months. He could pull into this position from a dead hang pretty easily, but he just couldn't raise his head to finish the move. He said it felt too scary. One of my friends got this far too. He got onto the bar, but when he tried swinging a little so that his head started to come up, he freaked out, got down quick, and never tried it again. Okay, give yourself some time to get comfortable with this, and then start trying to raise your head. You can do it either as one smooth motion, or you can get to the top, hang from your hips, rock back and forth, and try to raise your head and come up to a support. Don't expect to get it right away, but even if it's really scary, if you stick with it, it'll eventually get more comfortable, and you'll be able to do it. If you're having a lot of trouble with raising your head, here's another thing you can try. When you're hanging by your hips, have a friend hold your feet while you raise your upper body and head, like doing a back extension. This is a great way to get used to the feel. In the video, I'm using a ladder instead of a person, but hopefully you get the idea. As you're going through this progression, you can also work on the strength component of the move. You can jump with both feet, making it somewhat harder. You can also just try to pull it straight from where you're standing. You can try it using a higher bar. And of course, eventually, you'll want to do it from a dead hang. Okay, so you made it to a support. Now what do you do? Again, if you've never been in this position, it can be a little scary. This was another place where my son had trouble. Hopefully you're on a bar that's not too high off the ground. If that's the case, then jump down onto your feet, but also try to slow your fall by keeping your arms tight and bent. In this video, I've turned around and taken off the right-hand grip so that I can demonstrate how to descend safely. It's possible to descend through the awkward middle part very slowly by keeping your arms tight and maintaining a strong false grip. That requires some technique and a lot of forearm strength, and you may not be able to do it right away. Another way to do it would be to get as low as you can on the bar, then just fall straight through the middle part and catch yourself just below the bar with your arms bent. But whatever you do, don't fall too fast and go like kung at the bottom. That's very bad. You might tear off the bar, and if you're old like me, you'll definitely hurt your shoulders. You want to be able to control it all the way down to a dead hang. So that's the pullover. If you can't do it yet, you should immediately start working on it. It's the easiest way to get to the top of the bar. It could be useful in your muscle-up training, and it's a great way to show off. Just ask my son. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment. I'd love to know whether this was helpful to anyone. And if you liked the video, please hit that like button. Good luck and happy training.